Welcome to the Pop. Welcome to the Pop. On the Wonder Sports Network. With your hosts, genefitzmagic. James Woody. Nigel down. And caleebpinkett. The Pop-Off. Welcome to the Pop-Off. Welcome to the Pop-Off.
Oh, snap. I'm never not gonna like that jam. I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm just never not gonna like it. You know what I mean?
It's our trademark now.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may reside. If you're tuned in here to the Pop Off, first of all, we thank you, we love you, and we're gonna pop off real quick. But I couldn't do this job without my brothers to the left and to the right of me. Maybe on your screen it's up and down. Who knows? It doesn't matter. The orientation doesn't matter. It matters that we're here. Mr. Gene Fitzmagic, it's been a minute, sir. How are you, dude?
I love the graphic last week where it said Gene's favorite player, Tatum, because we all know I love you some Jason Tatum on opposite day. Today is not opposite day. I hate you some Jason Tatum, and I'm going to tell you why I think he's a little bit more overrated even after a game one win.
Oh wow! Okay, and we can't wait for that. You know who else can't wait? Mr. James Woody. What up, sir? Tell us how you are.
I'm feeling explosive. It is Friday. I know Gene got some things to say. Nigel, I know you got some things to say.
Yeah.
And guess what? I might have a thing or two to say myself. Yeah. So, yes, we are going to pop off today. I'm feeling jumpy.
You know what? That makes two of us because I forgot to lead with that and be like, yo, I'm coming with energy today. If you're not ready for it, then breathe deeply and get ready for it because there's a lot of things that we got to take care of today, and I'm stoked. It's a beautiful day here in Toronto. It's raining, but the sun is out, so it's nice. It's nice north of the border. But you know what? Listen, enough about that. Let's talk about the hat. Let's talk about this first, and then we're going to move on. Now, you know, it was a big week in baseball. Shout out to the Jays because they avoided a sweep against the red hot Pirates. I think it was. I think we got one. I think we pulled one out, and last night, or the Orioles, one of the two. I think
it was the Orioles, wasn't it?
I think you might be right. It was the Orioles because the Orioles.
I saw Matt Hamilton crying about a loss the other day.
Exactly. Yeah, it's Orioles, and then we pulled out a win yesterday as well, the day before. So all is well. However, the whole reason, yes, happy Friday, Sierra. The whole reason I'm wearing this fitted today is because of the LA Dodgers' own Shohei Ohtani. Just putting on a clinic yesterday against the Pittsburgh Pirates, or 2 days ago. But the thing is that if you saw, he was getting struck out pretty hardcore. Did you guys see that? Mm-mm. So he was getting 100-mile-per-hour pitches thrown his way by I believe he's a rookie on the Pirates.
Oh, Skeen.
Yeah.
That kid is...
Yeah. He's fire. Then another pitcher comes in, and next thing you know, Ohtani's like, all right then. and Kloppers won. I think I might have my facts wrong, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Check the fitted, though. Check the fitted. Look at this. LA Dodgers fit. Looks all black. Get their Ohtani, Japanese right in there. You got number 17. Mm-hmm. All right, look at this side patch. Hold on. Wait for it to come in. There you go. Look at that side patch. Woo! Some gold stitch on there, huh? All right. Once again, like I said, fitted. So you got that Dodger blue, but then you can't see the gold in there. I got to wait for that camera to. Anyways, there's gold in there. Just go. It's legit.
I seen that. I saw it. Yeah, I seen that.
You see it? Yeah. Then you got the tone on tone New Era flag. You got the gray under visor. Oh my goodness! And then that Dodger blue right there at the top. Let's get after it. Okay. So now that I'm done talking about myself, talking about the fitted, let's get into today's topics. First and foremost, we need to have some reactions on Game 1 last night. Finally, the NBA was back. It was a long week. So now the finals are here. Yes. Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks, Mr. Gene Fitzpatrick. Please.
Fitzpatrick?
Tell him, yeah. Tell him.
All right, I'll take that. So I mean, I don't know what I wasn't here for the show last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really get to say where I thought the series would go. So I'll put it out now. And I'm not running away from it. In my head, and to everybody that could listen to me, I said Mavs in 6. I still think Mavs in 6 because you can't win in 6 if you don't lose 2 games, right? I expected the Celtics to come out on fire today or last night. No Jason Tatum really to speak of for the most part, right? I mean, he was kind of just another guy last night. It was the Jaylen Brown and Porzingis show. That's what it was last night. They were fantastic. Porzingis showed us that even with all that rust, all that time off, he is just as lethal as he's ever been, especially in this setting. But I got some good news for the Dallas Mavericks. I got a bright side, a light at the end of the tunnel. You can't possibly play any worse than you did in Game 1. Kyrie Irving played a disappearing act last night. All the role players were just nowhere to be found last night. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad, Celso, because like I called it before. Tatum would be pretty much invisible. I heard our boy Caleb, who's not here today, say he'll put up 38 points in the game, but then go 0 for 5 or whatever it is in the last 2 minutes when he's really needed. And that's the Tatum that I know and I love and I remember and I respect. I respect that Tatum. I love that Tatum. Keep doing that, Tatum, because you prove me right every time I say you're overrated. But listen, I think that the Mavericks can't play any worse than they played last night. I feel like, you know what, my Game 6 prediction is still intact. I think they're going to come out next game. I'm not even saying they're going to win. They might go down 0-2. I'm not even saying they're going to win the next game. But I do actually, I just realized my mic is so far away. I don't know if you guys could hear me well, but now you can. Kyrie Irving is going to be back in this game. He's played in big games. It's not like he's a guy that's had disappearing acts in big games. He's played in big games. He's hit big shots. I feel like yesterday was more of the outlier than the norm for him. And I expect him to have a big game. I expect all the 2 big centers they got to step up. They were kind of irrelevant yesterday. Thought they played, rather not centerish. I thought they played, a little off a little bit yesterday. I expect them to be better. And you know what? He still put up 30 points. And I think 11 boards, but I expect him to be even better than he was yesterday is Luka Doncic. So I am not upset at the way the Mavs played because I know they're better than that. And I know, okay, they're going to be better than that from going forward. It can't get any worse. I think it won't get better from that point forward. So I look forward to a comeback in the series from the Mavs.
I think you said it the best when you started and finished with that complete thought was they can't play any worse than that. I think you're right 100%. I think they were very ill prepared. I don't say that in a negative way. Like I'm not trying to go in at them. I just think they just weren't prepared for the atmosphere, for the vibe, for the flex that Boston was going to come with, and they just couldn't adjust fast enough. So the final score 107-89, the return of the Poison God. But you know what, James Woody, let's get your take.
Porzingis God. He was featured in the graphic, which I love as a New York fan. The producer's a New York fan. Maybe we're taking the New York. This is a New York Knicks pick right here, doing work in the finals. So I was actually really happy to see that. Gene talked about how we're not going to get that bad of a game from Kyrie. The role players probably aren't going to miss more threes. I mean, as many threes as they did. I will take that. I'll take that analysis and I will raise you that the Celtics are not going to have as hot of a shooting night as they did last night. I mean, Porzingis, that is my boy. All right. Anytime he wants to come through, duck his little 7'3" head into my door and eat my food, you are welcome, Porzingis God. But I promise you, he is not going to shoot like that all series. He's not gonna, that was a welcome back. Here's a welcome mat. Dust off your feet on the mat and shoot up some threes. And that's what he did. He had a fantastic game, but that's not going to happen every single game. Just like how Kyrie is not going to go 6 for 19 every single game.
And 0 for 5 from 3.
0 for 5 from 3. That's not happening again. They both are going to regress to the mean. Okay. The Celtics, they have this type of game. They usually have 2 or 3 every series. every series, but they just look unbeatable. Like everybody was hitting threes. Not only was everybody hitting threes, but when they missed, they got the offensive rebound and kicked it out to somebody else. Jaylen Brown missed, offensive rebound. Derek White, bang! All right, Drew Holiday missed, rebound, kick it back out. Porzingis back. It was like, Sam Hauser, Doogie Howser, everybody was out there just hitting threes. That's not going to happen all series. I mean, that's what happened when they were in the finals a couple of years ago against the Warriors. I was thinking that year, like, oh, I don't know if the Warriors can do this, because if the Celtics are hitting like this, it's going to be unstoppable. What happened? They lost that series. Was that 6 or 5? I cannot remember right now, but we know they took the L. What's going to happen this year? Will it be 6 or 5? I'm saying 6. Gene says 6. They're going to take the L. I am not at all budging from my original stance of Mavs in 6. I have seen nothing last night that makes me think any differently than I thought the days prior.
Well said, my man. I completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it was the display last night that the Celtics showed was out of control. Like especially the first quarter was lights out. At the end of the day, they ended up shooting like 48%, and everybody could score. It didn't matter who it was. Everybody could score. They could shoot from range. They could drive. They could dunk. It was literally a concert. It was a rock concert for them. That's what it was. And Dallas was like, "Oh, we'll be spectator. We'll be the opener. We'll be the opener." And then that's what happened, right? So you're right. However, the sad part about this whole thing, we got to wait till Sunday till game 2. So we got to wait. We got to wait 2 days. We wait today, tomorrow. Then we get game 2, and then the schedule.
They're in the same city.
Yeah, which it makes no sense to me. Why are you teasing us with that? You're giving us game 1, much anticipated after so much time, and then now we got to wait another 48 hours before we get game 2, and then the series starts rolling, which is every other day, which is really weird because then they got to travel, and we're still there. Anyways. So that's where that's at. All right, great. Let's keep it moving. Now, we did talk about the LA coaching vacancy last week, and we did also talk about the JJ Redick favoritism last week. But now we're a month removed, and now we're talking about Dan Hurley. If he is going to leave UConn, the infamous 2 back-to-back NCAA Men's Championship UConn Huskies, to go coach the Lakers. This is a wild notion and kind of out of nowhere. But hey, man, we don't know the real drive. We don't know the real story. Woody, take us through. What do you think? Should Dan Hurley leave UConn to coach the Lakers?
Well, let me just say a little something about Dan Hurley, because that guy.
You have to say in that voice the whole time.
I don't even. Let me say something.
I was going to say that's like, is that like the white voice? He's doing a white voice. I get it. It's all right. Go ahead. Mazel tov.
Yeah. Well, listen here, buddy. Okay, he comes from a very, very fantastic a basketball family. A basketball family that. Doesn't get the glitz and the glamour because they're not, a Curry or, something like that. They didn't dominate the NBA, but they're, his dad, Bob Hurley Sr., well, this kind of hurts my nasal a little bit. His dad is a Hall of Fame coach. His brother, Bobby Jr., right, basketball savant player. What he's done at UConn, right, keeping that family alive. He is part of basketball royalty. It would be an honor and a privilege to have that man coach your franchise. So I'm not surprised to see that he's a candidate. That's not the surprise to me. The surprise is that he would look at his phone and say, "Oh, the Lakers," and pick it up, knowing that all of that, everything that I just said, the lineage, the decades upon decades of Hurley's success in basketball could all just be put under the LeBron James shadow. He's not going to be the dog. There's no barking from Dan Hurley over there. He will have to deal with Bronny in practice and, let, LeBron drink his wine during the training camp, let him do his thing. Why would he subject his legacy to that? Stay at UConn, continue dominating what you're doing, And when a real franchise that gives you a real opportunity to be an actual coach opens up, take it and take it to the next level. But the Lakers, I mean, if you care about legacy and all that, I mean, if it depends on what he wants. If it's money, okay, take the money. All right, show me the money. But I think it's more to that for a guy that comes from a family that's so passionate about the sport, about the art.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he would sell himself like that to work in a place like that.
We got an emphatic from Gene. Gene, thoughts?
So I agree with Woody on part, and I disagree with him on another part. Hurley, I agree with him actually on a lot of it. Just this one part I don't agree with him on. Hurley comes from a best, like he said, they're not just a basketball family; they're the art of basketball family. Like they have like this, they have like it's an old school. I feel like, and it's also they're a college basketball family. Really, let's say what it is. They're a college basketball family. Bobby is an all-time point guard at Duke. We're seeing what Dan is doing now with UConn. I mean, Dan Hurley could be the next great college coach that could stay at a place for 30 to 40 years and win championships. He's the next Coach K / Calhoun / Rick Pitino. And let's take a little bit of a look at what Rick Pitino did. Rick Pitino went to the NBA and it kind of took a little bit of the bloom off his rose a little bit, right? Like I don't think he's regarded as the same great coach as he was when he was back in Kentucky. I don't want him to leave at a time where there's no consistency in college basketball, where we only get players for 1 year, maybe 2 if you're lucky, the great players. This is I at this point, the only consistency we can have is with the coaching staffs, and he could be the next great college head coach that could be at UConn for the next 30 years and win multiple championships, go down as one of the top college coaches of all time, one of the best coaches of all time. And instead, he's going to go to an NBA team, which, listen, he might do well in the NBA. You know what? A lot of players want to play for the Lakers. They have like that one legendary team that, like how baseball players always want to go to play for the Yankees. Lakers are one of those teams that everybody always wants to play for the Lakers. So he could attract big players there. But nobody spends a place and has that same longevity at a team in the pros because there's too much at stake in the pros. A couple of bad years where it's not even his fault. He just doesn't have the resources to restock the cupboard, and they could be getting rid of him already. Look at Darvin Ham was in the conference championships last year, and he's already shown the boot after a second play, and he made the playoffs this year, but he was already shown the door. So I don't want to see him leave UConn because I think he could be at UConn for the next 30 or 40 years. I like UConn. Maybe that's partly why I'm a little bit of a UConn fan. But I just love the consistency. I also think that college basketball is a different animal to coach than than professional basketball. You kind of got to be partners with a lot of these players. And listen, no one's going into LA and telling LeBron James what to do. Nobody. I don't care who it is. Nobody's going to tell LeBron. So we agree with that part. The only part I don't agree is I don't want to see him go to any team. Listen, I'm a Knicks fan. I think he'd be a good coach wherever he goes. I don't even want him coming to New York. Like I for the sake of college basketball, I don't. As a Knicks fan, I still don't even want to come in for the sake of college basketball. Plus, I like our coach now. I don't want to see him go anywhere. There's not a team that could have a future that I say, I want to see him go there because I think he could win with that team for a little bit. I think he win and for a little bit because let's face it, teams don't last forever with free agency and trades and. You know what? You win so many. You have so many good years that eventually, you don't have the draft picks to restock, and then you have to reset your cap. You only can be so good for so long as an NBA team, but he could be the best coach for the next 30, 40 years in UConn. So for the sake of Danny Hurley, for the sake of college basketball, I'm begging and pleading that this does not go through. I know he's supposed to be meeting with the LA Lakers today. So when you hear that he's in town with the Lakers, if the Lakers really want him and he really wants the Lakers, it's going to get done. And I will probably shed a tear if he leaves UConn for the Lakers or for any NBA team. He's a guy that I never want to see come to the NBA. Not because I don't think he can do it, because I think college basketball needs him more. And that's how I feel.
You said a couple of really poignant things. And I think ending with college basketball needs him more is 1,000% the flex. That's for sure the percentage. Shout out to Sierra in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. Once again, if you add more, Choplo, what's up? Salute. Add more. Let's add to the conversation. Let us navigate through this crazy sports world that we're going through, have some more chats, have some more jokes. We appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, reshare, all that fun, good stuff that you know that's in your brain. But again, I want to go back to Sierra's comment because they said there will never be another Coach K, which is reference to a Blue Bloods, which is a reference to the unconventional Blue Blood, which is the UConn Huskies. And now they have a chance to really lock in, to really solidify their place in NCAA men's basketball. Like, this is an amazing time. And I think you guys are right. This is one time where I really want to put my back against the wall and I really want to be like, hey, no, like, Hurley, you got to stay at UConn, dog. You have to stay at UConn because it is a mess. Lakers leave nothing but coaches' bodies left, right, and center. It's just a body count, just a coach's body count over there. The Lakers, just instead of a black body bag, it's just a yellow and purple body bag, and it just says coach. And you're reduced to a number. You're reduced to one of the 21 coaches or 7 coaches that they've had since. That's a very big difference since they've had since Phil Jackson. But anyways, I also want to say that it's like if Hurley leaves, a couple things here that are very bad for UConn. One, this is a tough time for them to lock down their roster because a lot of coaches have already done that. We're in June. They've already done that. So now when you're talking about the roster, the athletes that want to come back, if their head coach leaves, if their leader leaves, if their general leaves, they're allowed to jump into the portal. They have 30 days to jump into the transfer portal. I guarantee you 85% of those guys are gone. The other guys are like, I don't know, I guess I'll stay because my grades are good now. You know what I mean? But I bet 85% of those guys are gone. Boom. Just because the way that the transfer portal just moves players now, it's just a wrap. They could get the associate assistant coach or the assistant coach to be the next head coach of the team, but it's just not going to be the same flex. That's all there is to it. Yep. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I hope he stays like the rest of y'all. Let us know what you think. If if Hurley should stay or should he go? Lakers, don't do it. More basketball. We're talking about.
Am I frozen or are you guys frozen?
I guess Nigel's frozen. But we were talking. We were about to talk. He's still frozen.
Where were we going? right where he was about to drive the ship. We lost Nigel.
We lost Nigel.
He'll be back.
It's okay. Well, we were about to talk about Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
So we are, we touched NBA, we touched NCAA. Now we're talking about WNBA. Caitlin Clark, the shining star. Is she being targeted by her peers? This is something that we talked about before she was even in the league. Is there a target on her back? Now she's here. Flagrant fouls are happening. Different calls are happening. Gene, what do you think? Is she being targeted?
I think she is, but not for the reasons that, I know some people will say, oh, well, there's a lot of people, they're picking on the poor white girl. And I don't think that, there's a lot of people saying that. And I don't think that's what it is at all. I think because she came into the league with such fanfare, with the media putting her as this great white hope or whatever, the next, this great, basketball player coming in and without really have proven anything in the pros. And I think, you got a lot of these people that have been like, hey, I've been doing this for, I've been in this league for 5, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. This no young pup is going to come in here and try to take over the league just yet. Pay your dues. You were great in college, but now you got to come here and you got to pay your dues here. So I think it's fair that she's getting bumped around. You know what? You came in with all this fanfare. This is what's going to happen. It happens in everything, and every type of sport, every type of industry that the young hotshot rookie comes in. No matter what you do, if you sell houses and you're the new this new hotshot house seller, or car, automobile salesman, and you come into a new place, they're gonna haze you a little bit. And the way they're hazing here is they're playing tough on her. They're not going to give her easy baskets. And I respect that. I don't think that she should get easy baskets. Yeah, you thought that this was, college was maybe a cakewalk for you. It's not going to be the same here. You played against girls there. You're playing against grown women here. It's not going to be the cakewalk you thought it was. So I think I have no problem with it. I think it is happening as far as some of these other players coming in, but I get why it's happening, and I think it should be happening to an extent. I'm fine with it. If she would have been just another player, then maybe with like other drafts, we didn't hear about this in other drafts, and we had good players come out, but she's been known to be like the next big thing, like the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. And I think you're getting a lot of like people that have been here building this league for this long saying, nah. You're going to start from scratch like we all did. And I have no problem with that.
Well, we got 125 people in the building watching us right now.
Twitter representing.
I think 126 because Nigel's back.
Yeah.
There we go.
Shout out to Wi-Fi when I'm getting excited. All of a sudden the Wi-Fi is like, you need to chill, son. All right.
What do you think about Caitlin Clark? I have some, but I want to hear what you got to say in terms of, do you feel like she's being targeted? Jean made some good points.
Yeah, 100%. I think she is, and I think that there should be a man. How do I phrase this? I feel like unjustly she's being targeted out of jealousy and out of fear and out of like things that are all the bad parts about it. And it sucks because she's under a magnifying glass and she's turned the league into such a juggernaut in the immediate present, right? The league was always around. Some people watched it. It's just now she showed up, more people watch it. But I also want to say that CC is not the only one that helped this thing really get moving. Her whole draft class, which is the other thing that I don't want to say people aren't talking about, but I think the draft class is what really propelled this whole thing as well. Yes, she was a leading scorer of all time across NCAA, and she's a phenomenal player to watch. We all knew it was going to be hard. It's always hard when you're a rookie and you have that much cachet. It's always going to be hard. I just feel like the physical part of it is what's really taking her out of the game. But mentally, it seems like she's still in it. Mentally, she's still trying. Her biggest flaw right now, this is nothing new, is the turnovers. She's like, turnovers are just like her best friend, and it's wild to see the turnovers she's making. But I think that at this point in time, she is being targeted, and it's kind of unfair. Not to say that these women shouldn't be playing hard. Everybody has to be hard. It's just going to happen. That's the nature of a game. You just kind of get into it, unless you're playing chess. Then maybe it's a mind thing. Maybe you're an X-Men, maybe you're Professor X, and you can do the whole. I don't know. I'm going off track.
Nerding out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm nerding out a bunch. X-Men 97. Make sure to watch it. But the UConn coach in the women's NCAA, Gino Auriemma.
Auriemma.
Yep.
Auriemma. Thank you. I don't know if you mentioned this already, Gene, but Gino Auriemma was like, hey man, he's in the same camp as Barkley and James, saying like, yeah, I feel like WNBA players, I think they're a little jealous of what's happening, and when she does adjust physically to the pros, that's when her skill's going to take over, right? And I agree with him, and I think that's the deal, and it's a rough road ahead, but I think it's going to be sick. I think give her another season or two, like it's a wrap, man. Like once she gets used to everything, it's over. Woody,
so
yeah,
but just because do you think are you surprised at it, or do you think it's kind of like, I think I'm okay with it. Like I get it.
Right.
Like I get if I'm another player that's helped establish this league, and then you're just going to come in overnight and like and we're supposed to bow down to you. No, I'm gonna play tougher against you.
See, that's the thing, man. I don't think her mentality, we don't know her, but I don't think her mentality was like, yeah, I'm gonna take over this league. I don't think that was her mentality. I'm not even blaming her for it. I'm blaming media and everything else. Like if you're another player on any other team, right, and she's coming into your city, and you're on national TV because the Indiana Fever are barely, I think, what do they win, 1 or 2 games, and they're on national TV every night. Yeah. So you know what I mean? And you're on Las Vegas Aces. Yeah. You got a good team, and you're reigning reigning WNBA champions. You're good. I feel like you could be like, yo, like you might be the nicest girl in the world, Caitlin Clark. It's not your fault. You didn't really come in brooding and being a jerk and being like. But like everybody else is telling us that you're saving the league. Well, no, that's not cool because I've been here. There's a lot of really great talent in this. I mean, now she is maybe why we have watched lately, me included. Like I said, I didn't watch college basketball until a couple of years ago, of women's college basketball or the WNBA until a few years ago. For me, for the WNBA, it was actually Ionescu for the Liberty who made me actually watch, because she was the best player in the draft that year, and we had her in my local team.
So I watched that, and then just with the whole thing with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and the I'm sorry, in the W, March Madness a couple years ago. I can't speak. Got me into the women's college game. And I saw Sierra say that they should build this Reese and Caitlin Clark rivalry. It could be like Johnson and Bird. I love that idea. The only thing is I don't know if Reese is good, and like she's good. She does other things. She's not really the scoring talent. I don't think that Caitlin Clark is to really kind of hold up her end of the bargain of that rivalry. I think they already had one coming in from college, but Angel Reese does different things. She's not going to score like Caitlin Clark can score. That's the only thing. So I don't know if it would take a lot of manufacturing, but I have no problem with her being targeted because I could understand it. And again, I don't blame her for it. It's the media and it's everybody else that's kind of put her on this pedestal. She didn't put herself on this pedestal. She seems like a nice girl and it seems pretty humble from everything I could see. So I don't blame her. So I'm with you on that boat. I blame the media for it and everyone. Listen, we've only been doing this for on this new channel for a few weeks now, and I think she's already been like one of our topics like 4 times already. So you know what I mean? Like name another time we've talked about college women's basketball before that. So I get it. We're just your hats, yeah. But other than that, listen, I appreciate what she's bringing to the league. But I also understand where you're going to get, these other women saying, no way. Like we're going to, you got to earn it, young pup. And I'm fine with that.
I think she does deserve a little bit of blame. I'm coming in with an unpopular opinion. Now, of course, it's the media's fault. It's the media's fault because what they've done is tell a story that is simply untrue. That's what it is. If you ask the casual consumer, like somebody who like has not, if nobody's watched, right? If you ask people who have not watched the WNBA and you ask them who's the best player in the league, they're probably going to say Caitlin Clark. Who's the most exciting player in the league? Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is not in the tops of any statistic besides turnovers. She has not yet proven to be the best at anything in the league thus far. Now the media will say she's having a historic rookie season, right? The first person to average these averages in the history of the WNBA. She is averaging these totals at a sub 30% shooting percentage. That's not particularly impressive to me. If Kyrie Irving shot under 30% from the field, he would be blacklisted from the NBA. Okay, I'm not trying to say that Caitlin, like Gene said, we've been talking about this time and time again. We've been talking about Caitlin time and time again. I pick the topic sometimes. I like talking about Caitlin Clark. I like Caitlin Clark. The only 2 games that I've watched of the WNBA from start to finish this year were Indiana Fever games. And you know what I saw during those games? I seen Caitlin miss a lot of shots, get a lot of turnovers, and get a technical foul cursing out the refs. You say, what do you mean cursing? Could be talking to the refs. Well, they zoom in on her face, and I think everybody can hear this. I think everybody can hear that. And that's what she's saying at the refs. She literally leads the league in technical fouls, cursing out refs. Everyone and their mama seeing Kennedy Carter push Caitlin Clark right out of the blue, right? Out of context, that seems out of the blue. They asked Caitlin about it. There's no place for a play like that in basketball. What I didn't see until I did my own research was that the whole game before that, she was chirping at Carter. She was chirping at her. All right. She went on a drive, threw forearm straight to the neck of Carter for the bucket. All right. Another play, hit a jumper right in her face. And instead of getting back to play defense, she made it a point to turn around and chirp. Now, they didn't zoom in on her face that time, but if she cursing at the refs, what is she doing to the opponent? The fiery juices are flowing, and now Kennedy hits a jumper and now makes that play. And okay, in the context, okay, they're having a competitive battle. But all we saw was that push. Yep. I don't think anybody saw that context, because I was shocked when I saw the context. And when I talked to other people about it, they tried to act like it didn't exist. Like, oh, nah. I think that was the only play of the whole game. Like, they literally don't know. They don't know. Everybody's seen Angel Reese get kicked out of the game for having 2 technicals that eventually one was rescinded. We all seen that, because they have no problem painting Angel Reese as the big bad wolf. All right. Mm-hmm. She will huff and puff and just blow all your happiness away. Like that, like, you know, she is the worst person who ever lived. But Caitlin Clark, she has never made a mistake in her life. Okay?
Well, you know, you're making a great point, but let me ask you a question, because you're right. They paint Angel Reese to be like the Draymond Green of the WNBA, and they paint Caitlin Clark to be like, and like I said, I blamed on the media, to be like, you know, Princess Peach. Is it a race? Do you think it's a race thing? And I'm not so sure it's not. I said it before, the Great White Hope. I'm not so sure it's not.
You know, I'm
not blaming it on. I'm not saying definitely, you know, without a doubt it is. Would you? I mean, I'm not surprised if it's come down to that.
I can't. I'm gonna have to plead the fifth. I can't be on record.
I can say it. I'm white, so I can say it. I think it's a race thing. I think they're looking out for the white girl.
I won't disagree. I will not disagree.
I'll go on record and say it. There's a part of me that, like, listen, I like to think that sports is bigger than that. But there's a part of me that says you're right, because listen, and that's why I was saying before with Angel Reese, but Sierra says that Chicago loves her. She's right. They absolutely do, because I do too. I love the way she plays. She plays when she puts everything on the line. She reminds me of almost, I'm not saying she plays like Charles Oakley, but remember Charles Oakley was like that guy that just put everything, like he just left his body on the court. She's the same way. She plays with a fire and a passion that if you're a fan of that team, she would be my favorite player. So I get that. It almost like a Hart. Hart's not going to put up big points every time, but he's going to do all the little things you need to do. He's going to play with a passion and a fire for the Knicks. That's how Reese is. And Reese is always going to be like the one that gets fired up and will chirp and this and that. But you're right. They don't show, you know, like look at the finals of the March Madness a couple years ago. We saw Angel Reese doing this. But they don't talk about how she was only doing this because who used to do that the whole time before that? It was Caitlin Carter.
No, they talked about it. They talked about it. No, they
did. But it took them saying
about it like, oh, Caitlin Clark, John Cena, that's so cute. And then they said Angel Reese did it, and they were like, how dare she?
Angel Reese was out of line for doing it when it was like
that's what I'm saying.
That was Caitlin Clark's calling card for all these games. So it just shows you, like, I hate to say it, but I feel like there is something, and it does have a little bit to do with race. I'll call it out. I'll say it. So, you know, I think it does have a little bit to do with it, which is a shame because this is sports and it shouldn't come down to that, especially where we're at now. This isn't 1942 and it's not Jackie Robinson. It shouldn't be that case right now. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, man, you're 100% correct. I don't even know. I'm kind of in these camp, but I'm also like, it really gets at me because it's just I don't know how to articulate this. I'm having a hard time with how jacked up I am about this day. I can't even speak properly. When it's male sports, because I am a male, I identify as a male when I'm watching those sports, and then when I see something come down to it, I'm like, I can identify when that's a race issue. I know when that's a race thing. Especially when it's like, you know, football or soccer, whatever the thing is. But then when it comes to women's basketball, and a couple years back when it was Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and when you did the face wiping thing, the face scrubbing thing, I was like, whoa. And I think a lot of us saw it real time, and we were just like, whoa. And it kind of took a double take. Like we as athletes, as former athletes, as anybody who follows sport, you know that Caitlin did this, and then you saw Reese do it, and you're like, oh man, that's like what competitive nature, and like, you know, this is trash talking at its finest. And the next thing you know, the story turns real quick, and all of a sudden it becomes about race. And I was like, wait, what? And so I guess I'm just like naive to certain things like that, or I want to play naive to things like that, because I'm like, man, why are we? Do we gotta do it like that? You know? And I just have a hard time associating it with female sports only because I just don't know. But then when I see it now, when you call it out and just the stuff what's going on with the WNBA. You're like, oh, maybe it is, man. Maybe it is. But I don't know. That's a tough call. That's a very tough call. At the end of the day, I want competitive, fantastic basketball, men's or women's, and we're at a point now where we are getting a little bit of both. So now let's treat it with respect and dignity and treat the athletes like they're human beings and athletes that we're being entertained by.
Yep. 100%.
So let's move on. Unless Woody, do you have anything else to say? Sorry, I don't know if
No, well, I was just gonna say that I'm definitely not disagreeing with what Gene said on the record.
Yeah.
But, it just sucks because I feel like it does kind of take away from Kate. Like, I don't think they're doing her a favor by painting her as perfection. Like, I think we would more be inclined to embrace imperfection. Mm-hmm. Oh, she's had these struggles. Oh, she did lash out on the ref, but now she is worked to improve and things like that. Like trying to hide those moments, to be the league leader in technicals, and we've never seen one on Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, nothing like that. But we've seen the only time that Angel Reese has done it. Like, I feel that's crazy. Like, I just wish the media would do their due diligence and just tell the story as it is instead of selling an agenda, because I think that is what creates the animosity between her peers. Yeah. It's not like her, everybody has competitive fire. That's why they're in the WNBA, because they're competitive. But to have this person who, no matter what they do, they are Princess Peach, as my friend Gene said it. And then I make one mistake and the whole world sees it. Now they're calling me a thug. That discrepancy is where I think all that animosity and bad feelings reside or start.
I'll give you one. I'll prove to Woody's point. I didn't even know that stat. I had no idea. You're gonna tell me she's never even had a technical. I'm like, okay, that sounds about right. I didn't even know. Yeah. So to hear she leads the league in technicals, I had no idea, and that just shows you. Because listen, when it's Draymond Green, when it's Angel Reese, it's front page news. Like, Angel Reese was front page news. Like, that was one of the. It was, if you looked on and Bleacher Report, it was and on the front page of all the articles, that was in there. I haven't seen nothing talk about all the technicals that Caitlin Clark has had. So I agree with you on that one. And I had another point too, and I can't think of it now. I lost it. But
great. Well, think about it on your own time. Listen, we got enough people hanging out with us today. Thank you so much. Things got real, and you know what? Things get real. So we can't avoid it. We got to talk about it. It's in sports and entertainment, man, and that's what we do here on the Pop-Off. So thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, reshare all that stuff here on the Morning Brew Sports Network. This is the Pop-Off. Let's move on to our next segment. That's a nice little cleanser for you. Let's get into some football, man. We're like weeks away. We're just weeks away from the football season.
The camp opening up.
You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, schedule's already been out. And since 2024, this 2024 season will be the fourth season since the NFL added one more game and changed it to a 17-game schedule. But let's talk about the addition of an 18th game. An 18th game to the schedule. Should they do it? Woody?
As a fan, bro, you can, 45-game schedule. I'll be there every Sunday. As a fan. As a player, I already seen, I can't remember who it was, but someone from the Players Association was like, nope, can't do that. Too much on their bodies. So physically, see, here's the thing. I don't want them to keep adding games and then keep making all these rules to make the game severely less physical, like dropping the hip tackle. And, soon we'll have 20 games of flag football. I don't know. If preserving the number of games also preserves the sanctity of the sport, then keep it how it is. Keep it how it is, yo. I want some physicality. All right, no headhunting, cool, but keep the physicality, because that's why we watch the game. So I'm gonna say, right, the question was should, right? Started with should.
Yeah, should the NFL add an 18th game?
I will say no, because I want to keep the game as physical as they will allow in 2024. I think more games will come with the caveat of all these ticky-tack rules that they kept adding. And another thing that it will change, that this is probably just me being a grumpy, bitter old man, get off my lawn type, but the pristine nature of season records has been sullied because you keep adding games to the season. And now you say, oh, this person had this many yards in a season. This is the most ever. So they are the best ever. It took 4 more games. What are you talking about? All right. I don't care what anybody says. O.J. Simpson has the rushing record in NFL history. There is not one player, living or dead, who had more yards per game in a full NFL season than O.J. Simpson. That is a fact. Yes, you keep adding games and their totals keep going up, and you can do that again, add an 18th game so that Cooper Kupp or so whoever it is today, Justin Jefferson, can break Jerry Rice's record, but Jerry Rice did it in less games. All right, that is more impressive. That's just how math works, right? You keep doing something, you're going to have a higher total, but who can get the most per attempt? Give me that all day. So all these kids, all these youngins, all these Gen Alpha guys talking about, oh, shut up, old man. We got all the records. No, you don't, man. No, you don't. Sorry.
No, you don't. Gene, what do you got?
I'll tell you, the way OJ used to slice and cut through those defenses, though, I mean,
that's ridiculous.
My God.
That's
clean.
Sorry.
That's clean.
Anyway, you know what? You're right. It becomes like the 61. You ever see the movements about 61 about Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris with the whole 60, the extra game, the extra home run, and the extra games. You're right. I get that, and I do. I think the Players Association really secretly wants an 18th game because that's a way for them to get more money. What I think is they're supposed to say that because it's a bargaining chip, right? They're supposed to say, well, no, we're not doing 18th. And that way, when they finally give on it, they get something really good back because it was something they didn't want to give. But I think they do because they know that's going to be more money. So I do think I think secretly, I think that they do want it. I want it. And my thing is this. I want it to be one of 3 things. Either go to 18 games, go back to 16 games, or if you're going to stay at 17, you got to have every team has 1 neutral game site. So that way we don't just get a couple of London games. We don't get a Mexico game. We don't get a Germany game. Every week there's a new. There would be, if we stay at 17, my rule is this. If you stay at 17, every team plays at least 1 neutral game site. So you have 8 home, 8 away, and you're going to play 1 neutral site. And it's a great way to spread the sport out besides, right? You put 1 in Germany, you put 1 in France, you put 1 in England, you put 1 in Mexico. Maybe you play a game in Japan or China. It's a great way to spread the sport. So if you're going to do 17, listen, the home games are important. Home games are important in the NFL. I'd be pissed off if I have 17 games and I have 9 on the road and 8 at home. That could be the difference between me making the playoffs or not. I say make it where it's at a neutral site, so both teams are in the same situation. And some teams do get the neutral site game. They get the London game, and there's a Germany game now. I think did they do a game in Mexico a couple years ago? Like I think that Mexico is now one of them.
Mm-hmm,
I'm fine with that. It seems like they always put up big numbers in Mexico. Give me some more things. Give me a game in maybe Brazil or Australia, maybe. Who knows? Or even different parts of the United States that doesn't get football right now. Maybe put a game in St. Louis or whatever it may be. Put one back in Oakland. Let Oakland get a game again. To help build up the sport in those cities. But I either want it to be even numbered games or that. And as a fan, I would love to see 18 games. They've already lessened the rules on hitting and stuff like that. I don't think if they did take games off this calendar, they'd ever give those rules back. So my thing is, it's like you're not going to put what's the expression, the beans back in the can, or what's the old expression?
No idea
expression.
Yeah, I was about to say. Oh no.
You can't put the. Anyway, you can't. They're not going to let people hit differently. If we
can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Maybe. Okay, I'll take that one.
Yeah. Okay.
So my thing is I would like it to be 18 because I don't think either way, even if they make it only 16 or whatever it is, I don't think they'll ever give those rules back as far as hitting and stuff. I think that's gone. So we just got to enjoy football for what it is now. Hopefully it doesn't cheapen the sport, but I'd prefer to see an 18th game or just move back to 16. I hate the 17 game schedule. Unless you're giving me an alternate site game. Every team plays at least one, every team plays one alternate site game, and that would be throughout the whole week of the season.
Well, I can tell you this, that the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, he says, I'm not a fan of the preseason. The reality is I'd rather replace a preseason game with a regular season game any day. So we all know that the owners are on board. You said that earlier, Gene, that, yeah, the Players Association probably wants to go in on it, but there's a lot of things that are at stake. They won't be able to actually change things until 2030 anyway, but I'm sure there's some kind of clause that they could, go back and kind of rewrite things. But the TV deals, they're running through 2033. So it is what it is on that end. However, I want to add one more caveat because you Americans love your holidays so much that if they did add one more game, if you don't know this is how it would go. The league would add a regular season game, then they would remove a preseason game, then they would add a second bye week, lengthening the regular season, which is what Gene was mentioning. So that would put, and as the mathematician James Woody himself said, that would put the Super Bowl on President's Day mathematically, which is already a 3-day weekend. That means you're partying on Sunday, and y'all don't have to make up excuses not to make it a work on Monday because y'all already have the day off. So
I totally forgot about that point because I heard that. Shout out to Mike Francesa, the sports talk god, right, or whatever you want to call him, the sports pope. I mentioned that years ago, and I remember thinking that's a great idea. And I totally forgot about that stat. So yeah, that I think it's perfect.
See? Oh yeah. See how fast he turned? I just add some numbers and need to how fast he turned. Hey, 150 people that are in this thing with us along for the ride. Thank you for being here. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Jump into the chat. Let's have some more people talking because we talk too much. But we're not done talking yet because we're going to talk about more NFL. We are talking about the securing of Jefferson. Where does that make the rankings for the Vikings in the NFC North? Man, he got the bag. He got the bag. So we got the Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. Where does that secure the Vikings? Gene Fitzmagic. What does that mean?
Man, I don't think it's secure. I don't think it puts them any different than they were a year ago. I think they're that same team. Maybe a little less they didn't have Cousins last year either, I guess, but I think I could speak for all of us when I say that we're expecting Sam Darnold to come in and win comeback player of the year. I shouldn't have started
with Gene. That's my bad. You know what? And as soon as he started talking, I could see him fumbling with the roster thing. And I was like, oh, that's my bad. He's going to mention Darnold.
No, listen, I don't think that makes it. Listen, just because they signed to a new contract, he's still going to be what he was last year. So I don't think it didn't make them improve or anything. I'd love to see Darnold come in and do well. I think he has the ability to, but I don't think they're any better because they signed the extension with Jefferson. I think they're going to be what they were last year, probably the third best team in the league, and they better try to make something happen real soon because the Bears are coming up quick. The Bears, would you be surprised if the Vikings came in last next year? Honestly, if some of these players hit next year.
Wait, so are you saying, sorry, the league? Because you said league, or do you mean the NFC North?
I meant the NFC North. What did I say?
Okay, yeah, you said league.
I meant in the NFC North. I meant the NFC North.
Totally. I just want to make sure.
You got to figure the Detroit's ahead of them. Packers are ahead of them, especially if Jordan Love continues to do what he's done on that upswing that he's in. Yeah. The only team that might not be able to compete with them this year is the Bears, and I say that kind of 50-50 because the Bears, if some of the players they added, they all mesh well, and these young guys hit on some of these draft picks. Bears might even be better than the Vikings too.
I'll tell you this, Gene. I actually dropped an Easter egg when I was introducing the segment, and you reiterated exactly what my Easter egg was and how I feel. I am coinciding with you 100%. I think the way that North goes is Detroit. So it's the Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. No hate, no shade towards the Bears. I just think with all this new, I think it's going to be a little challenging for them. That's all. Mm-hmm. And then the season after this one, then let's talk. But I just feel like, they got too much new in there, especially when you have your leader and your commander as a rookie going into a tough NFC North. I mean, that's a big ask. That's a big ask. Woody, how do you feel? Are we right or are we wrong?
it's a solid list.
All right. Or the way that you like flipped your hair in the back there, and I was like, okay, go ahead, and zag on him.
No, well, I think to Gene's point of this doesn't change anything. Maybe not today, but if you look toward the future of each team in the NFC North, right? The Jordan Love, right? Every Packers fan can pretty much safely assume that in 3 years, this is a Jordan Love show. LaFleur is going to be there. Like their future seems pretty secure, right? The Bears, as of right now, since no one's played any games yet, they look pretty secure that they will have multiple years of Caleb and Odunze, and just putting pieces together around that nucleus. The Lions paid everybody and their mama to be Lions for the foreseeable future. The Vikings was the only team that was in foot. Like, it was like, oh my God, will they even have Jefferson? Who is that QB? All this type of stuff. By securing Jefferson, how they did, now that is no longer a distraction for this year and for years to come. And what that does is give whoever their QB is the best. If he's not the best, he's top 3 at worst. 3 at worst. If any list has Jefferson lower than 3 on the wide receiver rankings, it is an invalid list, but he's my number 1, the best receiver to work with. So, with that being said, I think the Vikings feel a lot better about their season. And this is a team that won 13 games 2 years ago. I had them making the playoffs last year. What happened? Kirk tore his Achilles. All right. The Jets were a team that I thought were going to make the playoffs last year. And what happened? Aaron Rodgers, he tore his Achilles. Right. And the Dolphins and the Bills made the playoffs. This year, do I think that the Dolphins and the Bills are better than the Jets? Well, no, because the Jets now have a quarterback who's ready to play. The Vikings, who lost their quarterback, and the Packers and the Lions made the playoffs, do I think they're automatically better than the Vikings? No, because I think that with a healthy quarterback in Sam Darnold, who has played in this system before, who has the physical tools to succeed in this system, they could be better than the Packers. I think that they can be number 2 in the NFC North. I'm going to go Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. Oh my!
Wow. Okay.
Well, can we wait? I don't want to cut you off real quick. I just because I don't want to not give her credit because she's coming up with a.
I was just going to say, yeah, no, you do it.
Sierra with a bold statement.
I was going to call it something from the multiverse. I was going to go 616 multiverse, but you stomped on it. So go ahead, Gene.
No, Bears. Listen. This is a bold statement. She's got Bears 1, Packers 4.
Yeah.
We got to bring Sierra in for football season and talk some football. We got to bring her on one just because I love her takes. Whether I don't agree with them or I agree with them, she's always got some great takes. So we got to bring her in for an episode one day. But Nigel,
yeah, go ahead.
Bears number 1.
I know.
I love Sierra's takes, but Bears number 1.
Listen. You love to see it, though. You love to see it. I love to see a little pushback, but that a lot of pushback. You know what I mean? That's like, hey man, I gave everybody BB guns for this bank heist. Sierra comes in. Oh, I brought an anti-craft bazooka. So Sarah, what are we doing here? I thought we were just gonna take a couple bucks. Like, oh, I was gonna. It's going to take the whole franchise of the bank. I don't know. It's like, yeah, man. That's a hot take. Bears 1, Lions 2, Vikings 3, Packers 4. Whew. I mean, even after the way the Packers performed last year, I don't know, girl. Damn, I don't know. Listen,
if Jordan Love, like I wasn't necessarily in agreement with Jordan Love when he first came out. I wasn't sure what he'd be, but he proved me wrong last year.
Took time, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Agreed.
Who was Nigel? Were you the one that took the Vikings last year to win the Super Bowl?
I 100%. I was going to comment on that too because Woody was like, I said they were going to make the playoffs. I'm like, yo, man, I said they were going to win this.
I think we all thought pretty high of them last year.
Yes.
You had the highest value of them, but again, you lose your quarterback early in the season. And this, it's what happens. So
they looked so good after the 2022 season. There was no reason why you wouldn't at least say that they were going to win the North or at least go deep into the playoffs. There's no reason why. Like they came on hot. It took them a while, and once they got their mojo together, the Vikings were unstoppable, man. Nobody could beat them. It was great to watch. So you just thought 2023, let's make it happen, or not.
But they got better too. Aaron Jones. I think Aaron Jones, right? They lost Dalvin Cook. They didn't have the running game that they wanted. They, tried to get Cam Akers back. Aaron Jones is a stud behind that offensive line. Like, I really think people are sleeping on the Vikings. That's what happens. People get injured, and then you forget they exist. You forget that team. But I really think
they did lose to Danielle Hunter, though, if I remember correctly, right? They lost to Danielle Hunter this year, didn't they?
He went to the Texans, yes. But they drafted Jared Verse, the top.
He was my top.
He was my top 10.
Yeah, I expect he was my top defensive guy that I thought was going to get drafted. He turned not to be the first, but but so that's a steal. We'll see how that goes with Brian Flores as DC. That's somebody who we've already seen can develop defensive talent. So don't sleep. Wake up.
What wakes me up? Money. Money wakes me up. So let's talk about the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Who do you think deserves, I should say, because that's a key phrase here, or the key word in this phrase. Who deserves to be the highest paid non-QB in the NFL? Woody.
Yes, because Justin Jefferson is, right? That bag that he secured,
that's right,
made him the highest paid. I would say, quarterbacks obviously are the highest paid because they are quarterbacks. So the second highest paid should be the position that nullifies quarterbacks, the edge rusher. So the person who was just the highest paid non-QB in the NFL, I think is a pretty good place to start. That is Nick Bosa.
Yep.
Somebody who has just made his life's work abusing quarterbacks. Someone like that. Myles Garrett is tremendous. TJ Watt, Micah Parsons. These guys have made careers based on making quarterbacks' lives hell. I think that is the position that deserves it the most because they have the biggest impact on the game. I would not give it to a receiver. I had a very long conversation with my cousin after Justin Jefferson, got this deal because I do think wide receiver is actually one of the most overvalued positions in football. I would give it to a defensive end. And Nick Bosa is pretty good.
After that last statement, we are now no longer friends.
No. I mean, I ain't saying that.
He's a wide receiver at heart. He's a wide. He's a wide receiver, always a wide receiver.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, through and through. But I mean, I understand why you would say that 100%. It's just the statement you made, which is a bold statement, just cut deep. That's all. Just cut deep.
I didn't mean.
Too late, Gene.
Mute that man. Mute that man.
Gene, what do you think? Highest paid non-quarterback.
I kind of listen. This isn't me knocking wide receivers. I don't discredit wide receivers like Woody did. So Nigel, don't mute me. I don't discredit them like Woody does. I do think that they are up there, but I also don't think they should be the highest paid after the quarterback. I agree with Woody in the sense it's got to be someone that stops the quarterback. Right? One of the best offenses is a great defense. I think they say the opposite as well, but I would go with either a pass rusher or it's not going to happen for a couple of years. But would any of us be surprised if Sauce Gardner could be the highest paid non-quarterback in a few years? I mean, the guy's put together. He's already put together first 2 years, 2 All Pros, not Pro Bowls, All Pros. You're going to have to pay for that. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to pay a pretty penny for that because he shuts down his side of the field. He's what Darrelle Revis was for all those years, and I think he might even be better than Darrelle Revis, to be honest with you, because he gets picks. Revis didn't really get that many picks. I feel like.
Are you kidding?
Revis was a big pick guy. He wasn't a huge pick guy. No. You're right. He didn't get a pick this year. You're right. You're right. But no, you're right. I apologize. These like Woody coming to kill me, bro. Woody always, whenever it's something, especially with the Jets, he's always looking to kill me. You're right. He didn't have any picks this year. I think he only had a couple the year before, but he does shut down the whole side of the field. If I was to give it to somebody this year, I feel like the best defensive player on the planet right now is Myles Garrett. He was almost he could just as easily have been the MVP of the year last year. Almost, and not just defensive player of the year, but MVP. He's that dominant. I love the way he hits quarterbacks in the head with their own helmet. That's awesome too. But But yeah, no, listen, he's as good as it gets on the defensive line for me. I know Micah Parsons, because of the age and everything, he'll probably be the next guy to get it. But I won't be surprised if in 2 years we're talking about it being, maybe 2 or 3 years, talking about it being Sauce Gardner. I feel like it's got to either be a corner or an edge rusher. If there's a receiver worthy of it, it's Justin Jefferson, though, for sure. And if Nigel is still playing, I'd say there's probably Nigel.
Boom. That's the right answer. Hey, whatever happened to the world? Very, very quick sidebar. Whatever happened to the world of the linebacker? Remember the linebacker was the guy? Like, it's just interesting to me because I'm looking up on the spot. So I was looking up linebackers too, like the ones that are currently, in the league and beating people up. Fred Warner from the 49ers and Roquan Smith and Raven, like just all these guys, Milano from the Bills. And I'm like, these guys too, though, because they're in a position where they're in the middle. They're the middle defense, right? So it's like, you have your D-line, you have your edge, but then after that, once the ball is released or once the ball is handed off, it's like the next line of defense. And even when it's passed, it's like before it gets to the DB, the free safety, like the linebacker has an opportunity. It's just such a versatile position, and it can really make or break plays as well, or even more so than an edge or a D-line? Question mark? I don't know.
I still feel like they're not as I feel like they used to be more disruptive.
Sure.
Before, like I feel like the pass rusher is over the last 10, 15 years has grown so much. It has become such an important part of the game, that game wrecker. You're right. I feel like it's the before that it was linebacker. It's almost, listen, running back was a major position on offense. It's not so much anymore. And I'm not saying linebackers been reduced to running back, but I feel like it's not the same as it was, especially with how important these edge rushers have become. And you know what? Probably because there's more offenses pass the ball now. So the running back isn't as crucial anymore, which means the linebacker isn't doing what they used to do, I guess, right? So maybe that's kind of why. Maybe because the quarterback drops back a lot more than they used to do 10, 15 years ago. Maybe that's why we're seeing that change. Same way we've seen it on offense with running back. Maybe that's why we're seeing the same thing on defense with linebacker. And maybe another 4 or 5 years and linebacker might really become like safety at that point. Like safety is one of those positions you always feel like, there's some great athletes at safety. But it's the position. It's not, if you talk about what's the least important position on defense, it's probably safety, right?
Yeah.
You might see them become like maybe where they're not as important. As long as you have one good one, you're okay. Who knows? I don't. I can't tell, but because they don't run the ball as much, maybe that's thinking outside the box.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah. Sorry, Woody.
No, I was saying that was exactly what I was going to say. Gene took the words right out of my mouth of the run game, because it's a passing league now. You need the people that are going to put those passers on their backs. Whereas the line, Ray Lewis, right, stuffing everybody's rushing attack. Not to say that he was bad in coverage, but I'm saying like as the game has evolved, the positional values have also evolved as well.
Now, speaking of evolution and also the next wave of what's up, Phil? The next wave, we're talking about CJ Stroud. Real quick, because I think that we can move on from this conversation very quickly. CJ Stroud says that he is top 3 NFL quarterback.
Settle down, young buck.
Is he in your top 5? This is a very quick answer, I feel like. So let's do the thing and let's move on. Woody.
He is not.
Great, thank you, Gene.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Wait,
too.
Can I say one more thing?
Of course you can.
Because CJ Stroud almost gave me an aneurysm earlier this week. If you follow me on Instagram, see my story, you already know what I'm talking about. But the boy said, or he was asked, would you rather have the career of Eli Manning or Aaron Rodgers? And he was like, it's all about the rings, man. And did not even consider having the Aaron Rodgers 4-time MVP, one of the best to ever do it, type career. He opted to go with Eli, who has led the league in interceptions time and time again, has only won a playoff game in 2 of his 16 years in the NFL. Granted, they won the Super Bowl those 2 years, but his defense, riding the coattails of a defense that did not allow an opposing team to score more than 20 points. Anytime they've ever done that, Eli has lost. that is the career that CJ Stroud is striving for. And that's a top 3 QB in his eyes. He's a top 3 QB striving for that type of career. CJ Stroud, sit your ass down and stop with all these ridiculous takes. Now, don't get me wrong. He's entertaining with Micah Parsons and all the ridiculous things that they say. But some of these takes are giving the next generation the absolute wrong opinions on some of these things.
Yeah, and listen, he will probably, as good as he looked last year, he could very well be there in a couple of years, right? My thing is this: that option of Rodgers and Eli isn't even a good. I don't feel like it's a good pick 'em, because at the end of the day, he's only got one more chip than Rodgers does, really. So to have all those other like non-elite seasons for just one more chip, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I get you want to win as many rings as possible, but it's only a difference of 2-1. Now, if you give me like, Brady and, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I
feel like even that one is the chip though, bro. Like, that's like,
I know, but it's not like saying like Eli won like 3 or 4. Or, you know what's a good topic? Here's a good one. How about Rodgers or Bradshaw? Bradshaw wasn't an elite quarterback. He was on good teams, and he was a good quarterback. He was a really good quarterback. He was a Hall of Famer, as Eli will be. But he wasn't like as elite as like and Rodgers. If you look at their careers, right? I think that in that sense, because he's got more. I just feel like 2-1 isn't that big of a difference to say I would. I don't blame him for picking either one, because again, it's only 1 ring difference.
I would say for Peyton and Aaron, that is because they've had similar careers. But Eli and Aaron, like Eli is not even he was never in his life considered the best quarterback in his family, in the league, anywhere. But Aaron has been him. He might still be him.
Hopefully he's still him. Ciara. Ciara, you throwing me for a loop today, girl.
Oh my God. Yeah. I did not want to say it, but Brock Purdy. I can't put him in my top 15. I cannot put him in my top 15.
Now, one of my best friends on this whole planet, he's like a big brother to me. His team is the 49ers. And he will tell you Purdy is like the man. I get it. Now, that's his job to do. Just like I would say,
Darnold.
Yeah, is the man. No, not, I can't say that now for that reason. But Purdy, top, the second best quarterback in the league. When you got Joe Burrow,
this conversation already went out of control. We're already spending too much time on this.
Ciara, I love you, girl. You got great takes today. You've some weird ones today. We need to have her on, man. She's got to explain some of these. And there's not a bigger fan of Ciara than me.
Moving right along. Do you believe that was Dustin Poirier's last fight, or Poirier's last fight? I put a T in there just because I wanted to. That's amazing. I love that. Salsa was like, let's just get out of here. So I'm gonna throw it to you guys, and this is once again one of my favorite parts of the show, because your boy just gets to chill, hang out, because he doesn't know much about UFC. So let's start off with Woody. Do you think this was his last fight?
I love that vibrato with that. I can't even hit it the same, so I won't even attempt. The absence of Caleb is felt, because I would love to hear his thoughts on this and our next discussion. But Poirier, he had a fight last week. He was spectacular. Last week on this show, I literally tried to tell Caleb, I don't think he has a chance. And Caleb, no, he has a puncher's chance. He can definitely win that fight. And for 5 rounds, or let me say for 4 rounds, he was doing a fantastic job. Was he winning the fight? It was close. It was close, but he was very much in the fight. He did a tremendous job stuffing takedowns. He was hitting Islam. That is the most Islam's been hurt in a fight, maybe his whole career. I mean, the boy was bleeding out of places I didn't even know he had places. It was crazy. And Poirier was doing, he's not an elite grappler by any means. but the best grappler in the world had him taken down, and he was not getting submitted. So it was a tremendous, tremendous performance. And then, of course, Islam had one of the craziest takedowns we've ever seen. Just picked his ankle in between his legs. Looked like something that my son would do to me if he didn't want me to get off the couch. Just like, pin my ankle in between his legs. And then when Poirier spun out, Islam was able to choke him out for the win. But 5 rounds with the pound for pound best in the world is nothing to scoff at. After the fight, emotional, looking at his daughter, saying, hey, man, I think this is the last one. And I know a lot of fans, right? Fans are selfish. They're like, oh, Poirier, he'll be back, man. Just throw the bag at him. He'll be back. But everybody is a human being. That's something that Caleb would say is the human element of it all. And everyone has their own why. You don't have to look too hard to see what Dustin Poirier's why is, because it's tattooed on his chest. Parker Noel, that is his daughter's name. That is why he is a UFC fighter, and he has made millions upon millions over the last decade plus, being one of the best fighters in the world. He is 35. That was probably his last shot at the belt. I mean, that's a 4th shot. I don't know, to start now, go back to the back of the line and work his way up. Why do that and risk injury when you can walk away? You've made enough where you can live off and enjoy your daughter, enjoy your wife, and enjoy life with your family. I think that, yes, that was Poirier's last fight, and it was a spectacular one at that.
Gene, we're going to you. Poirier's last fight?
I don't think it will be, because I'll tell you what, I'm a 2-time father. I guess Poirier is a 1-time father, so I outrank him.
Yeah, by 1. We're talking about chips. About chips now? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's only by 1 though.
It's only by 1. So I will say this. And then I do want to get back on. I see Celso respond to Sierra, and I do want to say one thing about that. Let's face it, kids are okay. They're okay. I like being a dad. I have 2 of them. They're grown now. They're doing well. My son's doing very well in New York. My daughter's doing very well down here in Florida. But they're a little overrated at times. Kids can be overrated. Parker Noel, she might be a great kid. But if Parker Noel is going to deprive the rest of the sports entertainment world with no more Poirier fights, I blame her then. I blame her. Dustin Poirier, you still have gas left in the tank, my man. Your daughter has plenty of years that you can spend with her. Papa was a Rolling Stone, but he was also a great UFC fighter.
Gene, stop.
Don't hang it up, my man. Just saying. I want more Dustin Poirier, and if there was even a question mark of whether or not I wanted more Dustin Poirier, it was answered in that fight where he lost, because he still hung in there with the best fighter on the planet, pound for pound. I am an idiot. So thank you. I am an idiot.
Yeah, I could have
said kids suck, and I'd be 50% right. But
I love the take, and I love that you guys are at odds, or you guys are in different camps on this very particular subject. Me being very neutral party to this, and by neutral I mean no investment whatsoever, knowing that the UFC can literally change your life. And like, no joke, like the injury can be again, it could be as simple as maybe a broken bone. I use that very term very lightly, just, or it can, like, you can the CTE or brain injury or something that's
you could die.
You could die. I was about to say
you could die. Yeah. Or you could die. But it's like, going through whatever these people go through to get to tip-top shape and then fight another human being, it's vicious in there, man. And I feel like for the sake of whatever he wants to do in the next part of his life, yeah, bro, make that choice. Make whatever choice is your choice. Make that choice. I'm laughing because I'm still thinking Gene's like, yeah, but not for your kid, dude.
No, listen, and I agree. Whatever your reasoning is, listen, he doesn't need a reason to want to retire. If he wants to retire because this is it for him, then that's fine. I'm not saying he shouldn't. Yeah. I'm saying don't do it for the kid.
Okay.
Don't let her be a reason why you have regrets later on. You don't want to put that on your kid.
Right.
10 years from now, you may be like, You know, you're having a bad day. You're driving cross country to Disney World, and this kid's in the back, and you're thinking, I could have been fighting today. I'm here with this little brat. I get it, man. I get it.
And that's why Gene ended his UFC career.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would have had a match with Sugar Sean. Yeah. Who knows? Well, he's got to respond first. He's still ducking me. But I will say this:
are your kids watching this show?
My son's probably going to watch it tonight. My daughter doesn't always watch it. She'll catch it sometimes when I show her something, funny and zany. She's a big Nigel fan. So which I'll say, I got something to tell you guys after the show. Well, I'll say it before we end because I got a nice little thing yesterday, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. But yeah, I just don't think that Parker Noel might be a great kid, but don't do it for Parker. Whatever happened to the Apollo Creeds of sports, man? Leave it all on the mat. Leave it all on the mat.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Gene. Well done. Well said, my man. Well said. I was gonna make another joke. I can't remember now because I'm still caught up in all the ridiculous that you just said. Okay, listen, we're on the run out now. We're so close to the end. Thank you so much. 175 rocking with us here at the Pop Off. We appreciate you. You know what, more than you even know. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody watching. Like, subscribe, reshare, all the fun stuff. Make sure you're always checking out the Morning Brew Sports Network. And now with the run out, let's have one more major subject before we talk about things that we may have missed. My favorite segment of the show. So last but not least, the canceled Dublin press conference. Is Conor McGregor fighting this month? As scheduled at UFC 303, what do we think? Let's go back to you, Gene.
First of all, that picture on the graphic, put it back up for a second. Does it look like he's holding in a fart to you?
I mean, yes.
He's like, his face is like, okay, just sorry. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I hope not. Listen, I'll always enjoy seeing McGregor fight. You know what I'm saying? I'll always enjoy watching it. So I'm hoping that nothing's going to, Woody's probably a better one to ask first because I don't have as much knowledge as Woody. And I'm in the same boat with you, Nigel.
Yeah.
I know what I like, and I like to watch McGregor fight. Who doesn't love the ultimate sportsman as far as his mouth running and just to hear him on the mic after a fight would be fantastic, right? I even that alone is worth the price of admission. I hope we don't lose a fight from him. I hope not.
I think, and again, with my limited brain capacity in holding on to anything UFC related, I hope he just stays not doing fights or just being a face, because I just like that he's not in the mix, man. Because it's like when Jordan came back and played baseball. Like when Jordan left, played baseball, and then came back into the NBA and he was with the Wizards, and you're just like, oh, this is not, because we all want the person that we are used to, the one that we had before. And I think he's put such a great facade on, or he's done a great thing for himself by just removing himself from UFC, or in terms of fighting in the octagon, doing some acting and just doing some other personality stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, find whatever that wheel is, find whatever that wheelhouse is, and just stay in there, that lane. I'd like him in that lane right now. But what do I know? What do I know? Nothing. Let's go to Woody. Woody, what do you know? Is Conor McGregor going to fight this month at UFC?
Well, I'll tell you somebody who does seem to know exactly what they're talking about. Can we put up Sierra's comment, please? I mean, Conor McGregor. It's time to go. It is time to go. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here, because it has not been one. It has not been two. It has not been three. It has been 4 years since your last UFC victory in life. That fight was against a 37-year-old man who is in the midst of a 5-fight losing streak. Your only fight against somebody who was not an old man who needs help crossing the street was back in 2016. That was the last time Conor was victorious against somebody somewhat in their prime. 8 years ago. I have 2 kids, 8 years ago, I wasn't even married. That was an eternity ago. This Conor is not the same man. In those 8 years, he has been embarrassed by Khabib, beaten by Floyd, destroyed by the aforementioned Poirier that we were just talking about, destroyed twice by Dustin Poirier with Parker Noel watching, okay? Or maybe she wasn't even born. That's possible because these fights were so long ago. Now, Conor wants to be relevant, and I'm all for making a buck, right? And that's why Dana's doing it, right? Bending over backwards or maybe bending over forwards. He is making this happen because he wants to make a buck with Conor McGregor. But Conor has proven time and time again to be such a liability, so unprofessional, to put him in the headline for UFC 303, and then it's 22 days before, and we don't even know if we have a main event. This is outrageous, and this is a fight that they first announced 2 years ago. We've been waiting for this fight. Michael Chandler, his opponent, has been sitting on the couch eating bonbons waiting for this fight because he's waiting for the payday. So we've lost 2 years of Michael Chandler's career because Conor is too busy boozing, too busy blowing lines, too busy just living his life to the fullest, not giving a fook about anything else besides himself. Well, where the fook is this guy? Because he is not in a UFC octagon. They are stopping the world for this man who has no plans to actually return. If he does not fight in 303, Dana needs to cut him loose. Cut him loose.
Yo, I pulled out scissors.
Can I
cut that man if he does not fight? If he fights, all right. Let's all see the KO. But if he does not fight, cut that boy loose.
Can I say one thing then?
Yeah,
Can we get him in WWE then? His mouth on a microphone would be great. That's really all. I just like him being relevant. I just like him in some type of, not even being relevant as a fighter. I just like his. He's the champion of shit talking. He really is, right?
So you liked him in Roadhouse then?
I didn't see it.
Okay, moving on.
Sorry.
Last but certainly not least, let's jump into what did we miss? Guys, what did we miss?
Cute little
I like that guy. What did we miss? So he's so reflective, eh? Maybe that's me. What did we miss? I'll tell you this. We missed talking about the NHL's Lord Stanley Cup's finals. That is happening. That is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Edmonton, Canada's own Edmonton, going against the hot and sunny genefitzmagic state of Florida, which makes zero sense to me. But we're doing it. We're having best of 7 in June. Let's get after it on the ice hockey rink. What else we missed? Oh, what about the Vikings' new uniform? Shout out to the Winter Warrior fits, the all-white fits. If you haven't seen them, they're all white with some silver accents. And on top of that, they have the Viking purple with the numbers. They got the Viking outline of the, the solid colors of the horns that are on the side of the helmets. Let's talk about that very quickly. Gene, I think I overheard you just say, I like them.
I like them. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a sucker for like like when they do those kinds of things in the universe, like those color rush kind of things where it's one flat color the whole way through. I'm not excited to see it, but I do like them. Yeah. I do like them. I think they're sharp, man. I do. And now again, you got to do it. I'd love to see those on a snowy day. Can they take the roof off of Minnesota?
I don't think so.
If they could, that would be great.
They are
cool. They
Yeah,
kind of look a little Kansas State-ish. They kind of do look a little Kansas State-ish.
I can see that. Yeah. Well, was that Kansas State the Wildhawks? Or sorry, not Wildhawks. Wildcats?
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are
cool, man. I like them.
Yeah. Woody, what's your take?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I think they definitely should wear them when they go to London across the pond, week 5. They would look great in those unis getting smacked by the New York Jets in front of the good people of London. I think that would be great.
Amazing. Well, I've chimed in with my 2. Do you guys have anything else?
Well, hold on. I just see this comment from Sierra.
Oh,
that I feel like that's,
I was going there. I was going there too. We got a big bone. We have.
But she's a 49ers fan, so it's better. It's better because now I understand. Like she's just hyped for her team, but New York Jets, they are about to do some serious work. All right, we will be excited in week 1. No sadness. Those frowns will be turned upside down.
Yeah, and Prairie sucks. Sierra, I challenge Sarah to come on one day and debate with us because I need to talk to Sierra.
It is happening, Sierra. Just know that your invite is in the mail. We will get in touch. I feel like it's a thing happening. Gene.
Sugar Sean is off the hook for now. Sugar Sean is off the hook for now. He's off the hook.
In case you didn't see it in the chat from the Morning Brew Sports Network right here, the Jets Evening Brew is back Wednesday, June 19th with special guests, Cynthia Freeland. You got to make sure you check that out because football season is right around the corner. So we are not going to shy away from this. More football talk is always coming up here at the Morning Brew Sports Network. Not only that, but with us here at the Pop-Off, you're going to get your NFL fix, UFC fix, WWE fix, your retro fix, your hatted fits, everything much and the same. So my name is Nigel Downer. Woody, why don't you give us a few? Yeah. Go.
Can I just say one thing before we go? Because I got to shout. This, I'm at work. I don't really talk about where I work, but I was at work.
Right.
I work at a restaurant, and I'm walking through the tables, and I hear, "Excuse me." I go, "Oh, what can I get you?" And I thought this guy might have needed something. He goes, "I love you on the shows." Now I'm thinking, "Oh, he's clowning me. I probably look like some idiot on a sitcom." All right, who do I look like? I go, "Who do I look like?" He's like, "No, the show he watches a Disney show that I do, and he watches this show." And he says, Nigel on the show seems like such a nice guy. And he didn't know about Ghosts, so I had to tell him about Ghosts. I said, he's also on CBS's Ghosts. You should check him out on Ghosts. He's one of the cholera ghosts in the basement.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've never heard of the show, but he's like, I'm going to give it a watch. I was like, yes, find it on Hulu. Go, it's on Hulu, right?
I believe so in the States. Yeah, I think so.
Yes. So I said, go to Hulu, find it. It's on Hulu. Go watch it on Hulu. It's a great show. And he's fantastic in it. So I want to relay to you that he loves the show. But he specifically loves Nigel Downer.
Oh my goodness. Well, if that customer ever comes in again, thank him on behalf of myself personally. I really appreciate that, man. That's nice. Yeah, it's either on Hulu or on Paramount Plus, whatever. Everything's bundled and mixed together. So Google it. You guys will find it. Thank you for passing that on, Gene.
Yeah, Chris, and he's probably watching us. If he's not watching us live, he'll watch us eventually. So to Chris, he was there with his family. My only problem was it was the wrong answer. It should have been Gene was your favorite. You were talking to me. At least say I'm your favorite when we're talking. Goddammit.
He got it right the first time. He got it right.
He might have had it right, but at least that shows some respect for the man you're talking to.
He got it right the first time.
If he meets Woody out in the streets, I'm expecting him to say Woody's his favorite. You met me, say I'm your favorite. And because of that, something might have happened to your food, my man.
Oh, you
no.
Don't even put that out there, man.
Chris, I appreciate it. It was nice being recognized. It really was actually like I've never been recognized before for this stuff. Well, actually, once or twice before, but not for a while. So I do appreciate it.
Amazing.
Thank you for watching, and hello to you out there now. And I'm gonna tell you something. Nigel might seem like a nice guy, but you should meet him off camera.
Don't you dare, Gene.
He's not a great guy.
You're a jerk. Woody.
No, I'm just playing. I love you, Nigel.
Love you too, Gene.
I wanted to say that before we got off the air. So
thanks, man.
Yeah, we definitely popped off today. Nigel is a nice guy. He is the best of us. He is the one that we aspire to be. As you've seen from today, we got a lot more aspiring to go because me and Gene are definitely off the rails. The only other thing I'll add is for something that we missed, I actually have a family reunion coming up next month. Getting all the cousins and everybody together, and we were so excited because we planned the event on the exact same day that Iron Mike Tyson was going to face Jake Paul, July 20th. And then this old fart said, I got to move the date 4 months. Bro, now I got to deal with my cousins, my aunties, all talking about my hair like for no reason. Now, at least at the end of it, I was gonna be able to sit down, sip some tequila, and watch this fight. Now I might have to get in the ring and
fight family.
I'm start talking crazy. I might have to show him something, but it's I can't believe it.
Amazing. Well, sorry about your luck, man. Good luck with all that. They always say family first, but in this case, maybe it's the alcohol first. Who knows? Listen, on behalf of Woody, Gene, Caleb, we'll see you next week. Myself, Nigel, and everybody here at the Pop-Off and then behind the scenes for the Morning Brew Sports Network. Thank you very much. That was the Pop-Off. We will see you kids next Friday. Peace.
Brip, brip.